This is the episode we've all been waiting for. We got Sid Ed Williams.
Hey.
And we got Average Trevor. Sorry, that was a callback to last episode. I was being dumb. This is just a regular episode, no guest, but I think it's going to be a good one. We have a lot of good stuff to talk about, a lot of gaming on this gaming podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I was so caught off guard. You threw it to me so fast. I thought you were going to say more words. It's just like, we got Sid Ed Williams, and I'm just like, yeah, well, yeah. yeah, I'm here.
To be completely honest, I didn't expect to throw it over so soon. I just realized, wait, actually it makes sense for him to say something here. I'm just going to stop.
Before we started recording, you were just like, man, I got this idea for an intro and it sucks. And I'm just like, great. I'm looking forward to it.
I just wanted to do the exact same thing you did last time, except honestly, unironically, last episode was insane.
I loved last episode.
That was the most fun I had recording probably in a while. I don't know, like the most fun out of 63 episodes, but it was a really good time.
Man, there was one comment that complimented my intro, and I was like, yes. I don't know.
Honestly, your intro was solid. I couldn't have done it better myself.
Thank you.
Because it really hyped up the importance of it. Even though it's 3.5 hours, it's quite lengthy. I understand if you don't want to dedicate that much time to listening to us and KO and Quan, but if there was one episode to listen to of this podcast, I would highly recommend that one. It was solid.
I think it's so funny, like listening back to it and you being like, you didn't know what was going on.
I was completely misinformed. I totally misinterpreted what the format was.
It's like, okay, let's go Trey, KO, Quan, and then me, and then you're just like, okay, number 10, and you do this whole intro.
Yeah, I hyped myself up like, yeah, I've been speedrunning all these years. I haven't played that many games. I gave this whole spiel thinking I'd be talking for like the next 40 minutes, giving my entire list in one sitting.
Yeah.
But I was totally unaware of the format. Honestly, that format was way better though. It gave equal talking time across the whole episode.
And it was like, kind of hyped up the next one, next color tier, if you will.
Yeah, it turned out really good though. Once I figured out what we were doing, it was good.
I like that after the first round, you were like, oh, actually, you guys are right. And I was just
like, wait, hold on. This actually makes a lot of sense. I'm sorry.
It's so good. But yeah, I've been really hyped on the podcast in general for the past week since I was really excited for it to come out, and I've re-listened to the whole thing. And I liked how the only thing that I regret, and people were even still doing it, even though I didn't say it, obviously, but like people were putting their top 10s in the comments, and
yeah, I read through some of those. Those were pretty cool.
Yeah, like people mentioned series that I didn't even think of to like mention. Like Metal Gear Solid was mentioned, and I was like, I totally forgot about that. I haven't played very many Metal Gear Solid games, but like I totally understand why somebody would have it in their top 10, and like Pikmin, and just like so many buried series that I was just like, we didn't touch.
Yeah.
And
also, like, I knew this would inevitably happen. Like, after it goes out, I would think of stuff that like I could have put on there. Mm-hmm. I think my three biggest regrets are not putting... I would have put Pokemon Coliseum in my honorable mentions, probably.
Sure.
And possibly in my top 10 towards, as KO would say, the red tier, the worst of the tiers. I would consider Wario Land 4 and Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, both really solid games.
Oh, yeah.
But, I forgot to mention those. But, of course, there's so many games out there. What can you do?
I see, regretting about putting something on your honorable mentions is kind of weird. Because I just...
Yeah, those games don't really matter, but...
Yeah. As we were going, like... people were mentioning games, and I was like, oh, yeah, that developer. And I put down, like, a couple from that developer. The one thing that... one of the comments pointed out is that they were surprised that I didn't list Last of Us. And
oh yeah, you always talk about that game.
I didn't even think of Last of Us while I was writing it down, but it wouldn't have made top 10. Like I think at some point, I think at some point Last of Us might have been top 10 in my like life, but like now looking back, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it was good, but I'm not like, oh wow.
Well, I think that Last of Us is to you as Twilight Princess is to me. Because after as a kid, I loved Twilight Princess, but it's just a game that, from a gameplay standpoint, I would not really want to play it again, probably. It's way too easy and stuff.
I think all of the, like, the conversation around Last of Us 2 and all of the, I don't know, negative takes or just like everything around that series has just been kind of toxic, that maybe it's downgraded my opinion of Last of Us. Maybe it's not downgraded my opinion of Last of Us, but it's definitely like, I don't know. I just don't think of it as highly.
Yeah, just like you downgrading Twilight Princess maybe affected how I think of it.
The world downgraded my opinion of Last of Us, and then I downgraded your opinion of Twilight Princess.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's how it went. But yeah, I've been really hyped on the podcast for the past week and a half. Not that I wasn't before, but it just like thinking about the podcast and like different episodes we could do instead of just like, oh, it's me and Trey this week, and then next week we'll have a guest. Like, I like the idea of thinking of roundtables. Not that we've thought of anything like great yet, but
I think we could definitely see a future roundtable like in a dozen episodes or so.
Yeah, and
I just gotta think of a good idea, get some good guests. Maybe Quan and KO again. They were really good.
Yeah, Quan and KO were so sick.
Yeah.
But maybe other people, who knows? But it's just I've been definitely super hype, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And
yeah,
like all the compliments in the comments we've read and we appreciate, and I don't know. I just loved the top 10 pod for sure.
Yeah, I love the comments on podcasts. Every comment feels so much more personal than like a generic YouTube comment that I would get.
Yeah,
because I feel like, oh man, this is like a little YouTube community going on right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's cool. But yeah, well,
okay, not just YouTube. We got Google Podcasts and Spotify. So I don't forget you guys. You guys are out there. Actually, so aside from games, I think my biggest regret in terms of stuff that I mentioned about the games, I never mentioned music a single time.
KO did.
And yeah, KO did. Like, and I listen to video game soundtracks so much, I'm surprised I forgot to ever mention music, but like Sonic Adventure DX, my top 10 pick, has a soundtrack I listen to this day. It probably has my favorite Sonic soundtrack, and Sonic soundtracks are amazing in general. So that gave it bonus points as well. But then also, Fire Emblem Three Houses, amazing soundtrack as well. Like ones I would actually just listen to on a day-to-day basis. So
yeah.
Just throwing that out there. I also love soundtracks of the games I picked, typically.
See, I don't have that part. Like, I think as I was going through them, I was like, oh, I should have mentioned more, like, boss-specific things in Resident Evil 4, or, like, I kind of regretted not remembering or not thinking through Riven as I was talking about Riven, but there was no part of me that was just like, oh, the music. Because I don't think any game that I really listed is like, oh, the music. Except for like maybe Majora's Mask or I don't know.
That song, yeah. Solid.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Fire. Classic.
Fire.
But yeah. Have you. So you have thought of like maybe a minor change you could make to your top 10? I think my top 3 is like we were talking about it a few days ago. I think my top 3 or 4 even are just like for the rest of my life. I think that'll be it. And I think I'm right.
That's I think a better game might come out in the future. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Well, I guess considering like this as if no games ever came out from now on, I think my top 4 is like cement.
I don't know. I think my top picks are fine. I would just interchange Wario Land 4 or Mario Golf Coastal Tour in place of Sonic Adventure, possibly.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put Sonic Adventure on there to give Sonic some representation because I like Sonic. So.
But overall, I'm just really happy with how it turned out and everything.
Yeah.
But so 2 weeks ago, do we want to talk about Celeste first, or do we want to talk about like news?
Well, I mean, we got Celeste on the screen right now. It's a pretty popular game.
Yeah. So,
and I was just talking about music, and okay, I just need to get this out there. My first thing I got to mention about Celeste. So we both played Celeste. We did our homework for the podcast.
Yeah, we did our video game homework.
This is the first game we both played at the same time, specifically for a podcast. The first one being Luigi's Mansion 3.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, we both went in with pretty low expectations. We weren't fans of Terraria, and it looks like Terraria.
Okay, all right. I didn't think that this was going to be like Terraria.
Like 2D pixelated platformer, yeah, whatever. I played I Want to Be the Guy and stuff. Those are decent, I guess. But man, the thing I got to mention first is I am willing to say that the sound design in this game, between the music and the sound effects, might be the best I've experienced in any game I've ever played.
Yeah.
The mute, like every sound effect fits so perfectly. And I even if you're not a fan of 2D platformers, like you hate this genre, never play these games, if you play this game, it's at worst a decent game purely from the audio.
Yeah.
The audio is that good. I'm telling you.
See, the thing about so I played through Celeste. Do you know how long your first playthrough was? Like, I know you've been picking at it, but do you know how long?
So my first playthrough, I saw your stats yesterday.
Yes.
My 80% go through, I got like, I don't know, like 110 strawberries or something.
I got 120.
Yeah, I think you got slightly more strawberries, but my playthrough was 6xx. Yours was 7 hours. So
yeah, mine was just over 7.
I think our playthroughs were comparable if you outweigh the berries and the time. So
I ended up streaming mine.
I see. I am not a fan of blind streams. I've learned in the past. I typically only like streaming stuff if it's a game I'm familiar with. Because I can't stand that feeling of the pressure of, if I ever get stuck, it's like, is chat going to spoil something? Do I look stupid? Blah, 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 blah.
See, what's funny is
I can't get over that.
What's funny is that there was a viewer from Anti-Slicer who does comment on the podcast. He was in my chat.
A viewer from Anti-Slicer?
No, a viewer from the podcast.
Okay.
Did I say viewer from the comments? From the comments.
Yeah, I know Anti-Slicer. He's sick.
Yeah, he was in my chat, and he would like periodically ask to spoil things, and I'm like, dude.
If you know me and Sid, we are like the biggest anti-spoiler people in the world.
I don't know. But see, I thought that Celeste, going into it, I was just like, oh, this is kind of actually a perfect, it's just like, oh, basic 2D platformer. But there are things that can definitely be spoiled. It's like, oh, how do you get these crystal hearts? Or how do you get this specific strawberry? And stuff like that. Because I was actually streaming it earlier today to do like, I don't know, a couple more hours of post-game content to just kind of like, I don't know, round out my thoughts on the game. And I was going through the levels and like finding strawberries, and I played a couple B-sides. And I have no idea how to get some of these crystal hearts. I have actually no idea. I'm just standing there looking at this wall with this crystal heart in the middle, and I'm like, I got one overall in my first playthrough, and
they're very well hidden, some of them.
There's this area with birds with a computer screen that flashes the same color as the birds. I have no idea what the hell to do with that.
I figured it out.
I stood there and stared at it for a while, and then like, I think people in chat were just like, hint? And I was like, no.
If I were like streaming that, I would be getting frustrated at like people wanting to spoil it. But if I'm just offline playing it, I can take my time, be like, really assess the situation. Yeah. And actually that one I solved relatively fast. I'm kind of proud of myself, but
I have no idea what to do with that.
There was another. So for those who don't know, there's one crystal heart in every stage. It's like a blue heart that's super hidden typically.
Yeah.
And there was one in particular in the stage where you boost through the black squares with like colors on them. I forget what they're called.
Yes.
There's not even a name for them. I think the level is called Old Sight. Yeah, the one where you boost through blocks. That's the one where you have to be in the dream states to get the heart. Otherwise, it's like trapped within the walls.
Yeah.
And I spent probably a good 2 hours cumulatively trying like my heart out to find this crystal heart in that level. And actually, I figured it out so I recorded footage of B-side gameplay right before we recorded this right now, as you can see on the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. And actually, from playing the B-side of that level, it taught me a mechanic that inspired me to be like, oh, wait, maybe that's how you do it.
What's funny is that chat actually spoiled that for me, kind of.
Oh, really?
Well, kind of, because I was a huge idiot about it, but go on.
But actually, I realized that I could get this heart without even doing anything special whatsoever with something even crazier that's like a huge exploit in the game engine. And when I figured that out, I was like, oh my God, brain blast. And it's just like such a relief after all the frustration. I think I boosted into like every possible wall in that whole stage, figuring this shit out. And I was so frustrated yesterday, but figuring it out today with the inspiration from the B-side, it was so rewarding.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to re-look for that crystal part in order to figure that out.
That one took me so long to find.
Yeah, like I actually did the B-side of that level today. And that mechanic where it's just like the bird sitting there going like, press right and jump. I had no idea what the fuck this bird.
Yeah, that when I learned I could do that, I was like, wow, how did I not know you could do this?
Well, like, it's just like, oh, you can, because what I did is I went through the block there, and then there's this little platform where the bird lands.
Yeah.
And I thought you had to go up to that platform, and I got up there. I actually,
shit. Wow.
without like using the mechanic it's trying to teach you, I actually got through the block like as high as you can, boosted up and grabbed the wall, and then climbed onto the platform.
That's actually insane.
and then I was sitting there going like, now what? Like, now what the fuck? Like, I can't do anything with this. This is bullshit. This game is dumb. And then chat was with me, and I'm like, it's weird. I kind of have like a story from a while ago where it's like spoilers. Like, what are spoilers in a game like that? Where it's just like, oh, the mechanic is the spoiler, right?
That's where I draw the line. Is I think that explaining a mechanic is not a spoiler.
But it's like, I don't know. But the bird was telling you like hold right and jump, and Rasmus at some point said like you can jump out of the blocks.
Yeah, that's what they mean for you to do.
And I was there for like. I probably not way too long before like we figured it out together, or I was helped out to figure out that you can jump out of the block instead of it's like, yeah, hold right and jump, sure, but I didn't know it was like out of the block, and then everything made more sense. It's not
very clear. I just like held right as I was boosting through. I was just pressing A, like what's gonna happen, and then I got to jump. I was like, oh, okay.
I did not do that. I was just like, oh. You have to jump up to this platform, and I ended up getting up there. So it was that moment of we were commentating a lot of like newer Super Mario Sunshine Bingo the other week.
Whoa, toxic elitism! Oh my god, someone get this guy.
Blind Bingo, and when they were trying to do for Super Mario Sunshine, they were trying to do like the mechanic where you spray on the rope and do like the somersaults and then jump off.
Oh, Gelato Hundreds?
Yeah, for specifically those 10 coins in Gelato 100s.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the players, for God knows how long, kept trying to like jump as high as he could, hover, and then dive into those coins.
Oh my god.
and one time it worked for 2 coins.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Like he got enough upward momentum and then hovered in the right direction far enough that he got 2, and then I was like, damn, because now he thinks he's right.
Yeah, there's that little, I know exactly what you mean. When something you do, actually that's funny you mentioned that. In the very first B-side level, I think I spent half of that B-side, at least half, on a single screen.
Yeah.
Because at first, so one of the mechanics in that screen was like, the platforms that if you're grabbing it or on it, it moves.
Yeah.
And it was a thing where they want you to grab the side of the platform and then jump off to gain momentum to get to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, the first 2 times I attempted it, the momentum I got sent me like almost nowhere. So I was assuming, okay, maybe they like nerfed the momentum here, so I do it some different way.
Yeah.
I was completely wrong. You have these momentum there. I just got bad jumps. So I must have spent the next like 8 minutes trying to MacGyver my way up this really weird, awkward way, and getting so frustrated. Then I was like, maybe I try the momentum again, and then it worked. I was like, fuck, what the hell?
So it's just like if you get some sort of footing with bad knowledge, you're just like, oh, I'm right, but like I need to do it better.
Yeah. And then, what happened was I actually got some beginner's luck and got the MacGyver method to somewhat work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, if I just get like a little bit better jump, I can get up there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, my momentum on the first 2 attempts was just bad. Okay. I was way overcomplicating this. So yeah, that was really dumb. But.
Yeah. So that kind of thing happened with the bingo, and the person he was facing did the mechanic right, but he did it with hover.
Dang.
So like he did it the opposite direction, but he got 2 coins and then couldn't get like it was so hard to do the rest of it because he was just doing it wrong that He was just like, oh, I can't, I don't know what's going on.
See,
like,
when you think about it from the mature gaming mindset that we have, you have to think, is this what Nintendo intends casual players to do?
yes.
And you would, when you think of it that way, it's like, there's no way this is the right way to do this. It's got to be some other thing.
Yeah.
So.
It's way too complicated. But like, but Celeste, so that was my example with the platform. I was just like, oh, I got up to this platform. Now what? So I was like, I was wrong, but I thought I was right. And I like in my brain, I was just stuck. And then I was spoiled or whatever. But it's funny because like years ago, I remember Samurai Man playing Mario Maker 1 and Pyro and I watching him just play random Mario Maker levels when it was new. And he didn't know how to put on a helmet. Like I when I started playing, I didn't know how to put on a helmet. You just like grab the shell and you press down as you're standing and you put on the helmet. And he didn't know how to do it because it was like one of those thwomp levels with like a spike helmet. Whatever. So he like jumped into a block, the spike helmet spawned, and he grabbed it and was just like, what the fuck do I do with this? And like tried to MacGyver his way, like you were saying, through this like thwomp level, but didn't know how to like make it work. And then Pyro and I were in his chat being like, oh, press down to put the helmet on. And he got mad at us like we spoiled something. And I thought of it today because I was spoiled on that mechanic and I was just like, am I like, I don't know if I should treat this as a spoiler or not.
Should I be mad like Samu or should I just move on?
Yeah. And it's just like,
I think I think spoiling stuff like that is fine to like figure out how to play the game. What's not okay is explicitly saying, do X, Y, and Z to get this crystal heart or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When you stream it, it's just like, oh, do you want hints? And like everybody was pretty respectful of what I was doing. Like Anti-Slicer was respectful as well, not to like harp on him at all, but it's just, everybody was pretty respectful and it was just like, oh, do you want hints? It's like, no, okay. It's like, oh, I respect it. And then they just go on. But,
yeah, I'm only going to stream blind playthroughs if the game is brand spanking new, probably.
Yeah.
Such as the Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot. I'll probably stream that. Or maybe Elden Ring. I don't know, when that's like totally new and no one really knows what's going on. Because if it's a game that's like people know really well and I'm just sitting there figuring it out and there's always that temptation to spoil it, or in my mind it's like I look so stupid. Yeah. I'd rather just stream the games that I know how to do pretty well and just have fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the kind of person to have the personality to just play off the, oh man, look at me, I'm so dumb kind of thing. I can't do the whole streamer thing. I play games to play games. Or speedrun to speedrun. That's about it.
Something I loved about Celeste is that like you have like epic highs and lows. Like some screens you like enter and you just like beat it like that. Right?
Oh yeah, dude, I love that feeling.
And then you enter the next room and die immediately.
Yeah, it's impossible to balance difficulty in a game like this because just very specific maneuvers and whatever muscle memory you develop is so personalized that I'll like one try a room, then the next room I'll spend like 50 tries on like the B-sides, for example.
Like,
and that's pretty consistent throughout the whole game, I think.
Yeah, I feel like Celeste was really satisfying in that regard, and like the mechanics lend themselves enough for you to like save yourself. Like if you like, you can like kind of fuck up and then it just be like, oh, I'm grabbing onto this ledge. How do I survive this? And for the meme, I kept saying, got to keep the death count down. Got to keep the death, even though I was dying all over the place. If
I could just somehow spend the next 30 seconds salvaging not dying an extra time, that'd be so worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a kick out of it, and I definitely got a kick out of it, and that was kind of like, what did you think of the game overall?
I thought it had a cute story, cute characters. Obviously, the whole thing is supposed to be an allegory for mental health or something.
Yeah,
I'm not super big on that stuff, but I mean that's cool if you're into that, and. It just feels good in the Theo, whoever he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then your evil side, you eventually come to terms with. And it's like, oh, we can work together to climb this mountain, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It was a cute story.
Well, one part that didn't hit me as hard as I think it attempted to was the like mid-game like conversation tree.
Oh,
Theo.
yeah.
And
I forgot about that, yeah.
Well, because I played it, like I played 2 sessions and finished the chapter, and then I shut off the game. And then the next day, which was last night, as we record, I started my session with that tree because it's like the start of the next chapter, or it's like... It was,
so you were starting it up, fired up to play some of the gameplay. And you're like, all right, we got this text. Come on, let's go.
And then it's just like pages or not pages and pages, but like as I'm streaming it, I'm just like, oh, I have to participate in this tree now. And then I was actually like looking at all the options and going like, oh, I'm kind of interested in that one.
Yeah.
Asking about Theo's grandfather, or just talking about Madeline's past, or Sid Edward's past, as I'd named her.
Okay, I forgot that her name was Madeline because I keep getting called Trove because my name is Trove.
Trove.
It's Madeline. Okay, there we go.
Miss Sid Edward. That's
oh yeah, Sid Edward.
Yeah, Miss Sid Edward.
There we go.
But I went down all the paths that I was interested in, and then I was just like, oh, I guess I gotta go to, like, we should sleep now. And then,
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, and then Theo, like an asshole, was just like, oh, I don't know, like, isn't there anything else we should talk about? And then it like gives you an option of like, nah, I'm pretty sure I'm okay. I'm gonna go to bed. Or
that is, dude, that is so funny because I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, or the option of, oh yeah, we should keep talking, and I was like guilted by the game to like do all the options.
That is so funny. You had the exact same experience as me. He was like, you want to talk about your depression or just go to bed? Or wait. No, I think it was Madeline saying it.
Yeah.
I forget what the first option was. It was like, can we talk about my depression, or I'm kind of tired, I'm going to go to bed. And I was like, I'm just going to go to bed. I don't care about this.
I don't need to talk about
and then
my
Theo's
depression.
like, are you sure you want to go to bed so soon? Like, yeah, I'm sure. Let's go.
Did you go to bed?
Yeah, I just went to bed.
Oh, you went, because I was guilted by the game. I actually was interested in what they wanted to say about depression, but like it is funny to think of just like, oh, it's like, oh, are you sure you don't want to talk about like more personal things to this random guy you met this evening? It's like, no, I think I'm okay. I think I want to go to bed.
No, see, I think I was mostly curious to see if the game would let me do that. And when I hit no twice, it was like, okay, we're done. I thought it was going to be, because a lot of games have a really funny infinite loop where it's like, you have to say no.
Are you sure?
There's some games that literally have an infinite number of no's and you have to say yes eventually.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of those deals, but it was just 2 no's. And okay, good night. See ya.
Yeah,
fuck you.
I knew when it gave me the second option that it was going to be like right to bed, but then I felt like guilted by the game.
So if you said yes, what did they say? Do you remember?
If you said yes,
because I missed that.
Oh, if you said, oh yeah, we should keep talking.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do like the full thing.
Oh, it just it goes back to the same tree, like what you have left.
Oh, okay.
And actually, no, you went to bed, right?
Yeah, I just went to bed. Yeah.
I kept talking, and if you do all the options, Theo goes like, oh, or like one of the options ends up being like, oh man, this is a great conversation. And if you click it, it goes like, we should, Madeline suggests taking a selfie.
Ooh.
And you get a selfie with
Or wait, I
Theo.
think I got a selfie.
You got a selfie?
Wait, I don't remember.
Like a really happy Theo, and I don't know. It was just, but it kind of was, it worked oddly with my playthrough, because it was just like, my last option was like, oh, let's talk about your dead grandfather. And then after that, it was just like, wow, this conversation's great.
Yeah.
So it's just like, sure, let's take a selfie celebrating talking about your dead grandpa. But yeah, I thought that part was interesting, but I think it would have been better if I had finished the level and then done it and then maybe shut off the game. But I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
But it is kind of interesting. It's just like, oh, you should share more to this random guy that you just kind of met.
I mean, you've seen him a few times. You're pretty much best friends now.
You're besties. I was reading him as flirtatious when I met him first. It's just like, oh, hey, guy, how's it going, Madeline, Sid Edward.
But yeah, again, I gotta stress, like, the music. So first of all, like, I occasionally add sound effects to my videos to like fit a certain animation I use or like a transition. And finding a single sound effect, keep in mind, these people, like, they custom make their sound effects for the game.
Yeah.
I'm just over here Googling a sound effect, like bruh sound effects 2 or whatever. But, and I'll spend like an hour finding one sound effect. I can never even find the right one. But there are like dozens and dozens of sound effects in this game that all fit, whether it's the bubble thing or wall kicking or running or dashing, it all sounds good. But beyond sound effects, the music, generally what's expected of a game is like, oh, this is the song for this level. And maybe there's like one variation of it. Yeah. But as you go through a level, the music is constantly, it's like a evolving song depending on the room you're in or like what's coming up.
Sure.
Like right before a boss fight, the music will just cut out and you'll get to a boss fight for like dramatic tension.
Mm-hmm.
Or as you're coming to an end of a level, instruments will slowly fade away one by one. And everything, the music just always perfectly fits what you should be feeling emotionally. And also, they also express emotions through the gameplay itself, because if you can recall, the reflection level where like you fall all the way down,
yeah,
and you're essentially in rock bottom, there's not a single strawberry in that level because you're just sort of going through. It's supposed to be this period of reflection of like, oh man, can I really do this? And if it was broken up by, ooh, here's a strawberry, ooh, here's a strawberry,
ooh.
It would kind of defeat the whole purpose. But if it's just like no strawberries, we're just going through this thing, I don't know, it just helps fit the emotions of what you should be feeling. So
during the final, my impressions of music, I periodically like was bopping along, but I didn't fixate on much of the music at all.
I'm gonna listen to this soundtrack in the future for sure.
I guess that's just how I play games. But the one thing about the summit, like I really enjoyed doing the summit, but there was like, and as I was doing the checkpoints, I was counting down in Swedish, which is funny.
What's 12? What the fuck is 12?
What the fuck is 12? It's 12. It's 12.
12. There we go. 12. I know Swedish now.
But I couldn't remember. And Elva was 11. But what was it? Shugo Sex.
Shugo Sex.
Shugo Sex. But I think something that kind of killed the summit for me. I think the summit should have been, and maybe I'm like Celeste runners or Celeste players are like, oh, you're wrong. But when I was doing the summit, every time I saw a strawberry, it halted my progress so hard. Like that last strawberry, you were in the chat for it, where I was just like bashing against this spike for like 3 minutes at like what? Checkpoint 9 or whatever.
Yeah. And the level is so long, and you're so like you want to keep the momentum going.
Yeah. So eventually I just kind of like stopped. And I was just like, no, you know what? I'm just going to continue. I don't know how to get the strawberry. Maybe I'm not jumping high. You said jump higher. I'm like, I don't know.
I was just memeing.
It's like, oh, you should jump higher. I'm like, I don't. And then I left it just to like finish the game.
There was actually only one strawberry that in my whole playthrough, there was only one strawberry that like I could physically see and like know, oh, I can get that right now, that I had to skip. And it was in that level. It was a different one though. I think it was the one that has like the rising arrow platform that like you get like the gem and you like keep going on the other side of the wall of the rising arrow.
Oh yeah.
And I think when I attempted that for probably like 5 minutes before I gave up, but I didn't understand to like use the other side of that wall. I was like trying to do it without using the wall at all.
Yeah, me too. I was doing the exact same thing.
And it was like, dude, this is so fucking impossible. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I came back to it later and realized, oh, you can like, it's sort of like obscured by those spikes, but you can just barely touch that wall.
I did the exact same thing. And Rudhira in my chat, actually, as I got up to the top, and you see, I was like going to try it the opposite direction. I was going to try to fall down.
Yeah, I tried everything on that. I tried that too.
But I screwed up and didn't jump off the platform to the left, and I just kind of finished the room. And I just went up to the top, and like at that point you just jump to the next room, and either you restart the chapter or you just continue. So I saluted the strawberry.
Oh, that was the one you saluted. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I was sitting in on stream saluting, because I was just like, I gave you a shot and I failed you. I would have kept trying, but like I salute you, strawberry. And
that was a genuinely tough strawberry to get.
I never ended up getting it yet, but I know that Rudhir actually suggested what you are saying the answer is. so yeah. What was it? I think total I dodged like 3 strawberries, where it's just like I see that strawberry and I'm not getting it. I think total I skipped 3.
I skipped the one, but I think I had fewer strawberries because I was maybe a little less explorative than you.
Dude, I at some point I was just like, oh, where's my Dead Space mechanic where you tap in the control stick and see what direction the actual objective is so that I can go the opposite direction. Just like, oh, what way do I have to go so that I don't go that way so that I can find more strawberries or find more.
The main way you miss strawberries is you have 2 paths.
Yeah.
And you don't know which way is the way to continue and which way is an extra room.
Mm-hmm.
So I just end up picking the one that's the actual way you got to go. And you can't backtrack at that point. So it's like, oh, I guess I missed that one. All right.
I think I might have better instincts in that regard. Where it's just like,
maybe.
It's like, I think up might be the right direction, so I'm going to go right. And then I go into the right room, and I'm like, okay, there's a strawberry here, and it's the end of the room. Or like, oh, there's nothing here. I'm going to check the other room before I go. Or something like that. But I do that a lot. But I think overall, I enjoyed the game. I don't see myself like speed running it at all. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not going to speed run it. I'm probably just going to try to do as much as I can in it casually.
Yeah.
I played the B-sides literally right before this recording for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm having a blast. They are just the right difficulty, not too hard, not too easy. And the music is great. There's like remixed music of the original level for them. What else is there? Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably just going to keep playing this game, see what all I can get. I have all the strawberries now. There's like 175.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
I think overall, Celeste, I think what was it? I had something in my head and then you kept talking. Damn, it was there.
Overall, it is a great experience for the whole family.
I can't remember.
Oh, I thought it was cool seeing some speedrunner names in the credits. I don't think you noticed that.
I didn't notice that.
There was like a game, like special thanks for helping test the game or something. I saw M Sushi, TGH, and like someone else in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are big names. I know those people, so yeah, that's cool. It's cool having that sort of, as an indie game, you can have that connection between the developers and the people playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like playing Mario Sunshine, we can't just talk to Nintendo like, yo, what's
up?
Yo, what's up? We're running this game. Like, they don't give a fuck. But indie games, they can have sort of that connection. It's kind of cool.
What I was going to say is about the difficulty. I think overall, like, I think Celeste is probably a hard game.
Yeah, it's harder than the average game.
Yeah,
for sure.
And because I was playing the way I was, and periodically people would come into chat and go like, "Oh, this is actually like this is your first playthrough. You're playing really well." And I'm like, "I actually think I'm playing like garbage."
Yeah, I was the same way. Actually, but it's crazy. Like after just a handful of hours, you improve at this game exponentially.
Yeah,
like you just get a feel for it. Like after you just got to give it some time, and you're just moving and grooving.
I think Celeste, like if I was to make like a call, I think Celeste is a very gamer's game where it's just like, if you're good at games, Celeste will be like maybe a light challenge and like it'll be a however many hour playthrough and it'll be like kind of fun. But like if you aren't that great at games, it will be tough. It will be, It will probably be super punishing for you. And like, I don't know how satisfying it would be if you don't play as like games as much as Trey or I, or like other people that play a shit ton of video games or speedrun.
Yeah, I thought it was just the right difficulty for the most part. I think it's pretty cool how much post-game content there is. It makes it almost such that the whole any percent playthrough is just one long tutorial for the B-sides and other post-game stuff. Because like it really picks up in difficulty.
But yeah, that's kind of my take. I think I might do like an any percent run just for the memes because
You are. I'm not gonna do that.
like just for once. I've never been like a Super Mario. Like at some point, I was thinking about the Super Mario World ROM hacks when I was thinking about Celeste.
Yeah.
Like the difficulty wise, because that's what made me start thinking about it. I was just kind of like, oh, like this is kind of what comes from, oh, people want to make a really hard platformer, and this is how well it's how well of a reception it gets, or how good of a reception it gets. And I don't know, it's just interesting. I'm not like a huge 2D platform fan, but I was kind of a fan of Celeste. I think the story is fine, but I think the gameplay is kind of where obviously it shines. And if I was more into 2D platformers, then it would be a huge thing. But I'm not.
Yeah,
so.
I think we have about the same opinion. Like we're not.
Yeah.
We're mainly 3D game type gamers.
Yeah.
I can really appreciate a solid 2D game though, and this game, its mechanics are great. It feels great to move around in.
Yeah.
Again, probably the best sound design indie game I've ever played. That's no light compliment either. That means a lot coming from me, because I tend to really appreciate the music and whatever, just how a game sounds really factors in more than you'd even expect. So,
but yeah, that's our take. Yeah,
we played a game. I wonder what future game we'll both play for the podcast. We'll see.
I want to play Vanquish on the harder difficulty. That's what I want to do next. So
cool.
That's my plan.
I'm gonna keep doing some post game stuff in Celeste, and then I'm either gonna do. I gotta get around the Dark Souls 3, man. I gotta start playing that.
Yeah.
Because I gotta get that done before Elden Ring comes out. So I might just bite the bullet, start Dark Souls 3. But if not that, then maybe Resident Evil 4, because I bought Resident Evil 4 is on Steam, so I got it $20. Pretty excited for that because you love that game.
Oh, that game is so good.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is one of those games that, among my big GameCube collection, also Epic Transition coming up, among my GameCube collection, which is, quite expansive, I never had that game and I kind of regretted it. That being said, though, the whole collection, my whole GameCube and Game Boy Advance and DS collection is finally all in my apartment right now.
Nice.
Because last weekend, or I guess earlier this weekend for me, my weekend starts on Thursday. I went to my parents' house. It was initially just to sort of take the car in for an oil change and stuff. And I would have a car to get back and just sort of hang out at the parents' house. While I was there, though, we went ahead and organized, because our basement was full of all this stuff. And actually, my grandparents are moving into assisted living. And we realized, oh man, they're hoarding all this stuff in their basement they got to get rid of. And seeing all the stuff they were hoarding inspired my parents to get on this kick of, maybe we should get rid of some of our stuff.
Yeah.
And so we did have quite a bit of stuff in our basement to get rid of, old TVs, old mysterious wires that God knows where they even hook up to. We don't even know.
I love the bins filled with wires that nobody knows anything.
Yeah, it's just you keep those wires around because you never know. But the way that we see it, and actually, yeah, my dad put it a good way. You should never fear getting rid of something, because if you really need it in the future, you can just buy it again. It's no big deal. Mm-hmm. Unless it's a thing that's, pretty valuable. Maybe think about it. But if it's just a cheap wire or a cheap, I don't know, whatever it is.
Like a Machop scan card.
So growing up, I don't know who all, leave a comment below if you had the same thing. I had the e-reader growing up. For those of you who knew what the e-reader was, or rather don't know what it is, it was a thing that attached to the top of your Game Boy Advance, and you would actually swipe cards in it, and the game was in the card. It was pretty cutting edge for the time. Mm-hmm. And I had a Matchup card you could swipe, and you could play this really sort of basic game where you're Matchup going around punching rocks that are coming at you. I was I don't know, it's kind of cool. And I was just curious. I looked up on eBay, man, what if this Matchup e-reader card is really valuable? It's about $9. So
hey, that's more valuable than a lot of Pokemon cards.
That's true. But I just tossed it. I'm if it's not worth the effort of going through and selling it and shipping it and stuff, just recycle it, just toss it. Don't worry about it.
Was it in good condition? it
was mint, dude. PSA 10. Amazing.
I don't know if you're joking.
I am joking.
I don't know if you're joking.
I didn't get it officially graded, believe it or not.
Okay.
But yeah, we sorted all our junk. We got a lot of stuff. Our basement looks really nice now. Or my parents' basement. I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
But along with that, we realized, like, okay, my parents aren't going to play these games. They got to go somewhere. So I now have all my GameCube games, all my Game Boy Advance games, and all my DS games, and my DS, and my DK bongos, and my Guitar Hero guitar, all in my apartment right now. So
and you found your Breath of the Wild.
Yes. To top it all off, for years and years, I swore my copy, because I actually bought a physical cartridge of Breath of the Wild, I thought it was gone. I think at some point, my brother's friend borrowed it for a little bit because I was done playing it. And I was convinced that my brother's friend just never gave it back, because this was, I don't know, 2018 or so. And I was like, wait, where did my cartridge for Breath of the Wild go? And I just thought, I guess my brother's friend took it. GG. I guess I don't have it anymore.
GG.
Turns out it was in. So the Switch has like these little red containers where you can like store cartridges in. And I guess sorting through, I think it was like at the bottom of this random tub of like cables and instruction manuals.
Mm-hmm.
Just the little red case with Breath of the Wild in the red case just chilling at the bottom. And my first thought was like, how did it get there? Why would I put my Breath of the Wild cartridge in the bottom of this random storage thing? I think someone else must have put it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have Breath of the Wild now. I don't know if I'll ever play it, but it's cool that I actually have it. I didn't lose it. So.
And we'd like to announce that now Trey is going to try to beat my Korok total.
Yes, I think I have a good 150 or so.
Without hints.
So I just got to get about 550 and I'll have you beat.
Yeah, you just got to beat 700.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't go super hardcore in that game. I got like roughly 2/3 of the shrines.
Mm-hmm.
Not shines.
Not shines.
But yeah, it's so sick that I didn't lose it.
That's
I have it now. But yeah, so now I have my whole collection. I can play whatever. So it was pretty even. I asked my brother first, obviously. I was like, hey, do you want, because he was also a big fan of Melee. I used to play my brother in Melee a lot. I just made sure, like, hey, do you not want Melee or one of these games? He's like, no, it's fine. So I even have physical Melee right now, which is, pretty valuable, right?
I don't know.
I think my most valuable game right now is either Pokemon Emerald version or maybe GameCube Twilight Princess. One of those is pretty valuable.
Yeah.
But yeah, my brother got to keep the rest of the stuff, which is the Wii U games, because actually he owns a Wii U. It's not my Wii U. So he gets whatever, like the 5 Wii U games he had and the Xbox games, because he was much of the bigger Xbox player. He played a lot of Call of Duty. Yeah. I played a bit of Call of Duty, but he played like a lot of Call of Duty.
See, your older brother is my age, so it totally makes sense.
Yeah. He was like the huge COD gamer. He played like so many of them with his friends all the time. I didn't really do that so much. So he was the big Xbox guy. So he gets all those games. I get the Wii and the Switch stuff. Well, no, it's my Switch. Of course I get that. the GameCube and the Wii stuff and the DS stuff. And to my surprise, because I only ever owned the original DS, like 2005 DS. Damn. It was red. It came with Mario Kart.
Mine wasn't red, but yeah.
Oh, you had a red one too?
No, I had the gray one. I had the basic ass gray one, and I never updated it. And people made fun of me for not having a light, and I was just like, I'm not spending more money.
Dude,
like,
what did the light even improve over the regular one?
It was it looked better. I don't know. See, the thing is, I feel like I just grew up with a lot of people that had rich parents, and they kept getting each iteration. They kept getting each iteration of the DS and 3DS when I was growing up. So it's just kind of like, I guess 3DS is more recent, so maybe I'm kind of stepping out of line by saying that. But definitely, people were getting like lights and whatever the next one after light was, and I was sitting there with the vintage.
The jump from the original Game Boy Advance to the Game Boy Advance SP was a way bigger leap than the DS to the DS Lite.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, only original Game Boy Advance, which is the only one I ever owned, wasn't backlit. That's the main thing, really. SP was backlit. That's so much better. Dude. You don't have to like shine a light on it when you're playing in the dark.
Yeah.
I
I remember playing Pokemon Crystal in the back of the car once, and like during the sunset, and like trying to bounce the sun perfectly onto the screen so that I could just see what was going on. And it's just like,
I remember those days.
Just like what was mobile gaming?
And I also found my stupid little like attachment thing that like shines the light on the Game Boy Advance screen.
Mm-hmm.
I had that as well. We threw that out. We're not using it again.
No.
Yeah, I still have the original DS, and it still works. I turned it on. I charged it up. It works. Seems like it works just fine. The only issue is, and I don't know where it came from. For some reason, my top screen has like 7 or 8 dead pixels somehow.
So,
I don't know what could have caused that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe radiation got to it or something. Bottom screen, touchscreen is 100% intact. But for some reason, I have a weird thing where when I do the calibration thing on my DS, which is like, you touch the bottom left corner, then the middle, then the top right corner or top left corner.
Yep.
And then it calibrates it. Whenever I attempt to do the calibration thing, it never finishes. Like I'll be sitting there pressing the squares over and over again. And eventually it should be like, okay, calibration done. You're good. But it's just stuck in an infinite loop where I'm touching squares forever. So effectively, I cannot calibrate my touchscreen anymore. And it's a little bit off center. Like depending on how far left or right I am, it's sort of off by like up to a few millimeters at times.
Yeah.
Which hopefully won't affect too much because actually I also went ahead and purchased through eBay, via eBay, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, which is I believe the 3rd game in the Mario and Luigi series. And I played, Superstar Saga was my number 7 game of all time, I believe.
Yeah.
And I also played Partners in Time, which I didn't think was as good, but it was a pretty solid game as well. But I often hear that Bowser's Inside Story, some claim it's the best one in the series or like really close to Superstar Saga. So I'm excited to play that on my DS, which will hopefully still work. I mean, it's 16 years old now. It's pretty old hardware, but
yeah.
Hopefully it'll make it through, and hopefully the dead pixels and off calibration touchscreen won't affect too much. But I'll be playing that at some point. So
cool.
Pretty hyped for that.
Glad.
But I guess that's my sorting story.
See, I've had my games just like on the top shelf of my bedroom for the past like however long I've been here. So it's just all very accessible and visible. But anyway, what we have things to talk about.
Oh yeah,
we have news. So about 50 minutes into the podcast, we're going to get to the news of the week. Okay.
News.
We got news. We played Celeste. Trey organized his parents' basement and stole video games. But now we have to talk about the Nintendo Direct.
Yay. I actually didn't watch the whole thing. I saw like the second half of it.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it was the half that had the announcement of the Mario Bros. Movie, so that was kind of hype. I'm hyped for Seth Rogen.
Dude, what is it? Seth Rogen, Charlie Day,
Chris Pratt, that's the big one.
Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is just so funny to me.
Yeah, I feel like by the time this episode goes up, people would have heard this stuff to death, but it's still funny.
Yeah, it's still hilarious. But like, okay, so overall, in the Nintendo Direct, I'll go through it. I have it all listed.
Okay,
what was announced.
What happened in the first half that I missed?
Okay, I think, and I mentioned it to you the other day, but I think a very funny thing is that they start out like usually, because I missed the first 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I probably missed something big. All right, like maybe like an announcement of a Smash character or whatever.
Oh, your expectations are way too high for Nintendo.
Well, like I expected, because they usually start with something, and I was just like, oh, I missed the first 3 minutes, whatever.
Project Triangle Strategy.
I think I joined during the card game. I can't remember what the card game's called, but there was a random like JRPG card game that was being talked about, and I'm just like, okay, they had to have started with something better. So I went back later to see what they had started with, and they started with Monster Hunter DLC? Like,
I mean, people love that game. We just never played it personally.
I was just like, oh, what's this? Oh, what? Oh, it's Monster Hunter. Oh, DLC. I'm like, oh,
Cool.
okay. So they started with that.
Yep.
And then they went on to, I don't have this in order, so I just kind of wrote it all down. There's the Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Dude, every Kirby game just blends together to me.
What the hell is that title?
To be fair, they've given a lot of titles for Kirby games.
Well, like there are good. There's like Kirby and the Crystal Shards. There's
Wait,
Kirby.
what was the title again?
Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
It's a little tame, I guess.
Well, I like in Super Mario Odyssey, they called one of the kingdoms the Forgotten Kingdom, but like it's just kind of like it's a kingdom. That's fine. Like whatever. It's just kind of it's actually the shortest kingdom of the game. So it's just like, oh, the Forgotten Kingdom. It's like, okay, whatever. Print it. Who cares? But like this reminds me of Project Triangle Strategy working title. Where it's just like, are they going to change it? No, it's like they wrote it in like Kirby calligraphy, and it's called And the Forgotten Land. It's like, okay, great.
That doesn't interest me in playing it whatsoever.
No,
like
it really
Crystal Shards. That sounds epic.
But
Nightmare in Dreamland. What? You know, but that I don't know. It just sounds kind of lame.
But
did it look fun?
There's like you're going through a mall at some point. He's like going up an escalator.
It's the Forgotten Land because malls are dead now. He's like going through like old abandoned buildings.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't. I was listening to a lot of this. I didn't rewatch it, but so the Mario Party. You have to explain this to me. Do you know? There's a new Mario Party coming out in like a month?
Is there?
If you look up the release date, so they were talking about this new updates for what I assumed was the Mario Party that was out.
Mario Party 10, right?
Mario Party Superstars. Super.
Or wait, is Super Mario Party different than Mario Party 10?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't follow Mario Party at all, so.
Super Mario Party Superstars, right? Yeah. And apparently, like according to Google, it says release date October 29th. I knew nothing about this.
Is that so? We don't know if it's an update to an already out game or a new game entirely.
Watching the direct, I am very confused as to what the hell they're talking about because they're like
I'm not going to get it either way.
Yeah, they're putting new boards. They're like announcing boards for the game, like from N64 that's coming out for the new one that's coming out in a month. Question mark?
Oh wait, that's the thing where they're putting old boards in a new game.
I'm pretty sure
because I think I've heard of that. I thought that was announced like a month ago, but
they've talked about it.
Maybe it's even newer ones than I heard before.
Peach's Birthday Cake is one of the board games.
Yeah, those are just Mario Party 2 levels, right?
From N64. And so that's a thing. I thought it was.
Okay.
See, I was so confused because I thought the game. I thought they had made Super Mario Party from 2017. I thought they just like with the advent of Nintendo kind of taking advantage of online that they were actually refiguring out Super Mario Party and just kind of like making it online and changing things about it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool that they like not putting out a new game and whatever. No, they're putting out a new game and it comes out in a month.
All right. So it is a new game.
It says initial release date October 29th, 2021. And to my knowledge, as I sit here, that is in a month and 4 days.
So is this one going to actually be playable, the actual Mario Party online, or is it going to be that bullshit where it's like only mini games online?
There's both.
Because I remember when they pulled that, it's like, yeah, it has online, but it's just straight up mini games, not the actual board part. And I was like, what?
but they do have the survival mode. There's going to be super competitive people are going to be super I have written here Mario Party team online toxicity because there's like there's a mode where you can just play the mini games and you have to like some of them you have to play on a team, right?
Oh boy.
So I'm just like the 2v2 or whatever, and it's just like I can just imagine 14-year-olds just super pissed off at whoever they're playing with playing Super Mario Party.
I think it's a law of nature. One of the pillars of video games, I'm making this up right now.
Okay.
Any game that has teams online is guaranteed toxicity.
It's yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
That's exactly what I thought of right off the bat.
It's just an inevitability. You can't avoid it, so you just got to deal with it.
So other than that, there's the golf update, which I have no idea what the hell they're updating.
Dude, I'm just... Okay, I will admit, I think I've admitted this before, I was having serious buyer's remorse for Mario Golf. I was doing everything I could to justify it was a good purchase. But it's no Toadstool Tour. I'm just done playing it. I don't care about it. I'm so sad. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, that's so sad. So the golf update, Animal Crossing update. I know a few people that are excited about that.
Not me.
Okay, weird thing. Okay, so Project Triangle Strategy.
Yes, now we're talking Project Triangle Strategy.
It was talked about. But so, like, when we initially talked about it, we actually did. Was it during our live react that we did a year ago?
Is that still the name of it?
It's still the title.
What the? Okay.
I've been
great
informed.
name. Great 10 out of 10 name.
I've been informed that apparently Octopath Traveler, the other game, was called Project Octopath Traveler before it was called Octopath Traveler. So, and this Project Triangle Strategy, it looks very similar to that game, and I didn't go back to look at it, but I don't think it said working title because it's...
They're just going to remove the project eventually?
No, it's called Project Triangle Strategy. Still. But like, they could just call it Triangle Strategy. Yeah.
I'm saying they could remove the project part of it.
No, I get you. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. Yes.
Because that'd be silly to keep that.
that would be the thought.
Uh-huh.
But so, like, this game that we were moving out a year ago, I'm pretty sure, that was called Project Triangle Strategy working title, is still called, in the Nintendo Directs, Project Triangle Strategy.
I mean, coming up with a title's tough. Sometimes it takes a year.
But apparently it looks good. Apparently we're excited for it.
Actually, yeah, from what I saw when we talked about it before, it did look pretty fun.
Yeah, but it's just called something dumb.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, Animal Crossing update, Forgotten Land. I'll skip that for a minute. I want to talk about that. Metroid Dread.
Woo!
That's coming out next October 8th.
All I'm wondering is, does it matter that I haven't played Fusion yet? And like lore-wise, would it really matter if I just start with this one?
I know absolutely nothing about Metroid.
It probably wouldn't matter.
All I know, and you know that I only know about this, it's Metroid Prime 2 and not even 3. I just know Metroid Prime 1 and 2, and other than that, I know absolutely jack about
I only know 2 and 3, but not 1. So.
Oh, weird.
Actually, I'm most familiar with 3 because I actually played through 3 in the past year.
Dude, you got to play 1. 1 is so good.
Wait, didn't you just say you don't even know 1?
No, I do know 1. I know 1 and 2.
Oh, I thought you said I know 2 and not even 3.
I know 1 and 2 and not even 3.
Oh, I didn't hear you say 1, sorry.
I know 1.
All right.
So, what else?
Yeah, I should play 1, you're right.
Okay, what else is on here? So, Metroid Dread. We're excited for it. Maybe.
I don't know if I'll play it, but I'm excited for it.
All right, next thing. N64 VC.
I'll give myself a half point for saying GameCube VC tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was still, a newer VC, even though it's N64 getting VC for the third time. GameCube still at 0. We're still waiting, I guess. So
according to their announcement, it's another tier. So it's like, it's not I kind of want to look it up to be for certain.
So you can't get it with just the default Nintendo Online.
That's what I am coerced to believe by Nintendo themselves. I want to know.
That is pretty silly if you ask me.
Along with special controllers, games ported. Nintendo Switch is online. I don't know. Might be 50 hertz. I don't know. I'm looking at all these. Anyway, I'm pretty sure there's a next pay tier. I don't remember how much it's like $20 for a year.
And that gives you access to all the games.
I don't know what their tier is. I don't even know when this releases. I don't think they've announced that at like specific dates, but I think it's like another, like you can pay for online and then you can pay for N64 VC. I think like on top of that. So it's like an extra couple bucks, maybe, don't know. But So I could be totally wrong with this, and nothing that I'm immediately looking at right now is telling me I'm either right or wrong. But so Genesis and N64 games are going to be available. So initially it's going to be SM64, right? Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Yoshi Story. I don't know what the fuck this Japanese game is in the screenshot. No idea. It says Nintendo. Don't know. Ocarina of Time. What the hell is that?
Isn't Banjo-Kazooie in there?
Win Back. Covent Operations? Covert Operations. All right. Win Back. I don't know what Win Back is. Mario Tennis and Dr. Mario 64. The Banjo-Kazooie thing, Banjo-Kazooie and Crystal Shards are two games along with Majora's Mask that will be updated later. That will be added later. And then on Genesis, I could go through these games, but it's like Castlevania Bloodlines, sure, Contra, Ripstar, Shinobi, 3? Echo the Dolphin.
Yes.
I didn't even look at this. Golden Axe.
I played that game when I was really young. I think it scarred me for life.
I'm overall, like, I don't know. I could go through Strider. I don't know what these Gunstar Heroes. Don't know. But I'm excited to play Star Fox 64, and now looking at the Genesis screenshot, because I hadn't even looked at the Genesis. I know I screenshotted it, but I didn't look at it. But I'm excited to play Echo the Dolphin now that I know.
Echo the Dolphin, it's a game. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
It has my review from what I remember playing it like 20 years ago. It has very fluid, okay, no pun intended, fluid controls.
I didn't even think of it.
You can like jump out of the water, like build up momentum. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of like old gamey, frustrating aspects to it where it's like, oh, where do I go? Or like, what am I doing? Like, how come pushing this rock into these rocks makes them blow up? This makes no sense. It's also like a really hard game, if I recall correctly, but you might enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very unique for the most part.
I believe it.
And I guess the ending, I've seen the ending. It's super bizarre, but I'm not going to spoil it because I want you to enjoy it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Echo the Dolphin.
Echo the Dolphin. So that...
I think that the biggest ripoff of all, though, is you can pay $50 for an N64 controller. That's not too bad. But $50 for a Genesis controller? That is a D-pad, 3 buttons, and shoulders, essentially. $50. Like, I don't know what's up with that, but all right.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to justify a lot of that. But I think I might buy an N64 one. Maybe it's already sold out. I wouldn't be surprised.
N64, that's not as much of a ripoff. Like that kind of makes sense.
Like, dude, it would bring you back, bro. Like I always played with the N64 controller wrong. I never held it like underneath the middle right.
Oh,
and then,
you like reached your thumb all the way over?
No, I held it on the side and played with my palm on the control stick.
Oh,
I don't know.
Hell?
I never held the middle and like had the thumb, but I held like the side and then had my hand like awkwardly hold the control stick in like maybe it's not a claw grip, but like very close to it, like in between my thumb and forefinger, the control stick lay.
Or you could just have 3 hands.
I could just have 3 hands. That is
I think
also
that's what they intend you to do.
Yeah, okay. I you know what? Get a third hand, play with the N64 controller. But yeah, so $50 each for those.
Actually, that's why that one Mario 64 level is called that, Get a Hand.
Yes.
They literally want you to get an extra hand so you can play the controller properly. Easy.
So that is the thing. Bayonetta 3.
That's really pog if you're a Bayonetta fan.
See, the weird thing about Bayonetta 3 is that like they were showing it and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't remember if they announced this. Oh, cool, for Bayonetta fans. And then after the trailer and everything, like showing everything that they have up to that point, they went back to the guy and was just like, oh yeah, we announced this in 2017. I'm like, oh my God.
That's a long time ago.
That is crazy. Like, I didn't even remember. I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I seem to remember maybe.
Well, yeah,
like,
I wouldn't remember because I don't really play that. I don't play that series.
Yeah.
But
it's just
that's still nuts.
It's been 4 years and it's coming out next year. And I'm just like, you announced
Bayonetta
it.
team must have been hit hard by COVID or something.
You announced it 5 years before release. Like, this is some Final Fantasy tier shit.
These modern games, they take some time to
It's
develop.
just so odd. So the last thing I have from this, though, and I kind of wanted to acknowledge something about it, and I didn't know any, like, I don't know, ill effects that it could have on a different game. But so on October 5th, they're doing the Last Fighter for Ultimate video, or like Sakurai's doing their announcement trailer or whatever. And that's the same day that Nick All-Stars comes out.
That is a very interesting conflict of interest.
So the Nick All-Stars being the Melee copycat, or like I don't like using the phrase copycat, but it is. It's like it has the
I think
wave dash and everything.
Nickelodeon's gonna vastly overshadow the new fighter.
I hope so, because
Unless it's like the craziest, like crazier than Minecraft Steve thing ever. Like, I don't know that could, like, what's crazier than Steve? Sans Undertale? Like, I don't even know.
Sans Undertale. But so that's happening.
Amogus guy?
And Hugs actually put out a tweet, Melee player Hugs, put out a tweet being like, don't acknowledge the video, the announcement trailer for the new the fighter for Ultimate or whatever. We need to support Nick All-Stars. Don't restream it. Don't do anything about it.
Yeah. Also, we need to unsupport Nintendo for their shitty practices.
Yeah, and that's kind of that
shutting
kind
down
of deal.
tournaments and stuff.
It's just kind of interesting because I didn't even think of it. Like, I didn't know what day Nick All-Stars came out, and then today I read the tweet. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that, but people think that it's 100% intentional for Nintendo to do this. What do you think?
That is so slimy if that's true.
Yeah, people think it's like super intentional that they were just like, oh yeah, let's, we have this little blurb in our Nintendo Direct. Hey, on October 5th, this is our Last Fighter announcement. It's been 3 years since the game came out. This is the final one. You should tune in. Nick All-Stars exists on that day.
No one tunes in. Everyone's playing Nick All-Stars.
Everybody just, but it's on the Switch. Like, Nick All-Stars is on the Switch. So
yeah, that's
It's only $50 though. You know,
that makes you think.
I'm thinking I might get it on the PC.
I don't know if I'll even get it. I'm not like crazy about fighting games, but I'll definitely watch people play it for sure.
Yeah, I think it might be interesting, but I thought that I didn't realize the conflict, the date conflict there. Until
I never heard
today.
of that till now. That's crazy.
Yeah, so apparently, Last Fighter announcement on the same day that Nick All-Stars comes out, and that's rubbing people the wrong way.
I'm really curious to see how that plays out. What day of the week is that? That's a Tuesday.
October 5th, yeah.
Actually, funnily enough, I took off work that Tuesday and the Wednesday following, so I'll be around for the mayhem.
Hey,
so
we get to watch it unfold.
That'll be fun.
But yeah, other than that, it's the Super Mario movie.
Woo! And dude, seeing this lineup, all I gotta say is they gotta make it live action. Fuck the animation. Live action. Jack Black as Bowser. I'm down.
What's funny about it is that, okay, so I was actually in the Tim Hortons drive-thru while I was listening into the Direct.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to like turn it down for a minute while I was like ordering so that I wasn't paying attention because I was just like, oh, coffee, whatever. And then drove up, like turned it up a little bit and then turned it back down to get my order and then go and turn it back up. So I missed the whole intro to it.
Uh-huh.
So I tuned in like when they were talking about Chris Pratt as Mario.
And you're like, what the fuck is this?
so I was just like, okay, so this isn't a joke. Okay, this is on Nintendo's actual live stream. They're talking about Chris Pratt being Mario. And the whole time I'm like, this can't be live action. Like in my head, because I skipped the whole animation like preamble that they probably had. It's like, oh, we're doing an animated movie. These are the voices for. So in my mind, I was sitting there going like, Chris Pratt is playing live action Mario, and Charlie Day is playing live action Luigi.
Oh my god, I would give so much to see a live action Charlie Day as Luigi.
And Jack Black is playing. Jack Black is playing live action Bowser. And,
I always love Jack Black, big fan.
And Seth Rogen is playing live action Donkey Kong. And in my head I was just like, I can't believe, like the whole lineup is from a shitty YouTube channel's joke. like a joke made by a shitty YouTube channel, just like, oh, Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, LolXD, Jack Black, whatever, and just all these names just for the lols. But then like halfway through it, I'm sitting there going like, but this is actually Nintendo's channel. Like this is actually it.
Yeah.
And I loved their way of justifying Chris Pratt, because I even wrote it down here. They said, oh, we got Chris Pratt to play Mario. He's so cool, and Mario talks a lot.
Cool.
He's so cool, and Mario talks a lot.
He's so cool.
And it was just like, and Mario talks a lot. That's
not even true.
Mario in the movie he talks a lot.
Well,
so
no.
we got to get
Okay.
Chris Pratt. Maybe
it could be true in the games if you count Wahoo and stuff.
and what was it? Charles Martinet is going to be in the movie.
So they have Charles Martinet, the actual voice of Mario, as a cameo. But why? I guess because of typical Hollywood practices, you got to have like the star roles as like actual big stars.
Yeah.
But Charles Martinet should just be Mario. Like fucking what the hell?
My guess is that Charles Martinet is going to play Mario, but Shadow Mario, or like some alternate universe Mario.
Alternate universe Mario. That's a good idea.
Yeah, where like Mario like somehow interacts with himself, like the part of me in Celeste we were talking about earlier, where like he'll just be alternate Mario. Whatever that ends up being.
That is a really good prediction. I could see that happening.
Because I can't imagine them having him play anybody else. You know?
He's got to have like a bigger role than just a post-credit Stan Lee-esque thing where it's like, I'm going to say one word. It's like, no, you got to have more. It's the man himself.
It like, so the whole movie's animated, and then it like zooms out of like what the Disney, the animators studio, and it goes off of the page, and it zooms out and shows the animator sitting there, and it's Charles Martinet, and he turns to the camera and he goes, "It's a me, Mario."
He's like, Mamma mia.
And that's it. And then credits.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie. Like,
that'd be so dumb. That'd be hilarious.
That would be so funny. But
did you see the donkey reaction to it?
No, I didn't.
He was laughing pretty hard as they were rolling through it, and he was like already laughing when it got to Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
He was
laughing so hard. He was like out of character. It was so funny to him. Like he couldn't control himself at all.
Dude, I don't know. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is just so funny to me. But did you see? I linked the tweet. I linked it to you, right? You responded to it. Not Seth Rogen. Chris Pratt. Like for a Vanity Fair tweet or something.
Oh yeah, he's like, "It's a me, a Mario."
He just like talked to the camera right in front of the camera and just started talking about it. It's like, "Oh, it's a me, Mario," and it's just like, "Oh, that's not the actual voice. We've been working on it."
And I'm like, that's 100% the voice.
It's just like this. It's just so.
Dude, there was a really funny Twitch clip. You know, like the Mario 64 like ding noise, like title screen comes up.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, "It's a me, a Mario." They made an edit where it's just like title screen. "It's a me, a Mario." It's so funny.
That is,
yeah,
dude. It's absurd. This universe we live in is absurd, because like there was a tweet from like a year and a half ago that I saw linked, saying like, when the Mario movie inevitably comes out at some point, for no reason they're not going to make Charles Martinet Mario, and they're going to cast somebody like Chris Pratt. And it's a tweet from May 2020.
See, the thing is, those tweets are always like insane to see those predictions, but when you think of it as like, there's probably thousands of predictions like that all the time.
Yeah.
Eventually one's going to be correct.
But it's just like a year and a half ago, it's just like, Chris Pratt's known for being in the being Star-Lord in the something of the Galaxy.
I wasn't paying attention. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was like tuned out. Sorry.
Heroes of the Galaxy, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like he's known for that, and then he was in Jurassic Park, and he was just everywhere for like Jurassic World, and he's just
Lego movie,
and he's just in every movie. So like a year and a half ago, saying like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna cast Mario as Chris Pratt, LolXD," and then a year and a half later, it's just like, "Yeah, they did it. What do you do?
Yeah,
like, what happens now?" It's like, okay,
see, it's always sick to see those predictions But you gotta think of it like, how many thousands of predictions were wrong to get this one right prediction?
Yeah. And just like everybody all the time.
That's why it would have been, imagine if they actually announced GameCube VC. I would have gone so viral with that tweet because no one would have seen GameCube VC coming. I was just putting it out there, GameCube VC tomorrow. Imagine if it happened. I would have been so on top of the world with that tweet, dude.
I remember I read your tweet before the Nintendo Direct, and I was just like, I can see 64, like, in my head.
Yeah, I was afraid. I was thinking, like, they haven't done 64 yet. Maybe they'll do 64 and GameCube. Well, they did 64 and Genesis, so I was, like, kind of in the ballpark, but...
Yeah, Genesis is just like GameCube. It starts with a G.
Literally, it's the same, similar number of letters, same number of letters? Yeah, 7 letters,
Genesis.
starts with a G. I was close. Wait, close.
GameCube has more than 7 letters.
Oh, wait, that is 8 letters. Fuck. All right, I give up.
7 letters, basically the same.
No, I spell it Game Cub.
Game Cub, dude. Dude, I got my aim cube with me.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. With my sorting, I also have my physical GameCube here now.
Oh, that's type.
I'm probably not going to use it. I bet it still works, but I don't. Maybe I'll sell it in the future. I don't know. I just have it. So
I lost my plug years ago for my GameCube. So I have access to it, and it's like in my closet or something, but I just don't have the wire that works because what's funny about like the Wii has the same power, but it's like the inlet for the Wii versus the GameCube is like the opposite or something. It's like flipped the opposite way, so like it would work if it just was a mirror, which is weird.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's the entire Nintendo Direct. That's, I don't. Maybe I skipped some games.
Crazy, really.
Yeah, maybe I skipped some games, but they were in just like the weird showcase thing that I kind of missed half of at the start, and that's okay with me. But yeah.
So I finally finished Tales of Symphonia.
Cool.
Which is an RPG on the GameCube. It's funny because if I was still unemployed, this would have been maybe like a 2-week, 3-week game tops for me. It was it was at least 2 months, close to 3 months. I finally beat the game, and it's a long game. Don't get me wrong. I think my playthrough was like, I don't know, 65 to 70 hours. I did a fair bit of side stuff. I missed a lot of stuff, obviously. But yeah, Tales of Symphonia, it's, overall, I would say it's pretty good. I wasn't super wowed by it. Like, I know some people, it's like their favorite game of all time. It's a big part of their childhood. I didn't play Tales games growing up. This is my first Tales game ever. And as a pretty big RPG fan in general, I thought it was just pretty good. Like, it wasn't crazy. I'd say I prefer Celeste. Just comparing apples to oranges. But yeah, it has good characters. It could be a little one note sometimes. Like the main character, Lloyd, almost every cutscene at some point is made fun of for being stupid because he's the one who doesn't study or whatever. And like Genus, his friend, is like the smart one. And like Lloyd will say something dumb, and Genus is like, "Lloyd, you're so dumb. How could you think that?" And Lloyd's like, "I don't know, jeez." It's like, I swear that happens like 100 times throughout the game. But yeah, cool character. I think my personal favorite character might be Regal, who is a guy who's like this badass dude. His hands are always handcuffed, and he only fights with his feet. But there's one scene where they're stuck in jail, and it's the only time he uses his hands. He just shoots this laser beam and busts out of jail. And everyone's like, "Dude, why don't you just like fight with your hands?" Then he's like, "I promised I would never cause crime with these hands again." But it's just like, imagine how strong this guy would be if he actually used his hands. But yeah, I think he's a fun character to fight with just with his feet. That's like his gimmick. But yeah, it's not your typical turn-based RPG. It's quite the opposite. It's anything but turn-based. You're just running around. And when you're in battle, you're running around the field. You have like you that you control and 3 others that are like on autopilot. And you can also set like, it's cool. You can like set AI behavior to like, oh, go in or like go all in or like retain some magic or don't initiate combat. Just like chill over here, like only use magic, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, you make the rules to make the AI work in your favor along with you. It's kind of complicated at first, like going through all these menus of like, should I have this character be on the front lines or the back lines, or what should I do? For the most part, though, they're just sort of doing their thing, and you're just, I don't know. I usually would just be Lloyd slashing away with my sword. Yeah, you got Genus casting spells. You got Rain. I always have Rain on the field. She's like the healer. And there are some bosses where if you don't have healing, you're gonna get destroyed without items. At least to me, like I don't know. Throughout the whole game, I never feel like I ever had like a mastery of the combat. I was always like sort of working my way through it. I was never sure if what I was doing was the optimal strategy. It's like maybe I could be slashing more or using more magic, or should I be defending more, or should I just like stun lock them? It's never, and I guess that's good because if there was like one obvious strategy, you would just always do that. But I found it to be sort of like, I don't know if I'm doing this the way the game wants me to, but I'm making it work and I'm getting through the fights. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fun game, and it could be just accentuated by the fact that I've been so busy and I've been playing like, I don't know, like 2 to 5 hours of this game a week, which is not good because it's a very long game.
Yeah.
I was just like crawling my way through it. And I don't know, sometimes you would just like get lost. There's a really good synopsis feature where like it summarizes what you've done and where you should go, which is like, without that, I'd be so lost. So I'm glad that's there. But I don't know, the whole game just felt like I was kind of going through the motions. It's like, oh, we're going through the overworld, new town. Now the shop has slightly upgraded armor like I should get now. Okay, now I go to this temple, I unlock the thunder summon elements. Now I go to the next one, new town, slightly better stuff to upgrade. It's sort of going through the motions.
Yeah.
But to be fair, in the late game, there's much more. Like once you unlock everything, I forget the name of the first map. There's like 2 separate maps. There's like the first area, then second half, it's like Tetheala, which like everything in that world, like the battle music changes. It's like a different, you unlock new characters and stuff. It's kind of cool. But I don't know, after like you go through, like the world opens up to where like at first, you sort of just like walk A to B, like, okay, go to this town. Whereas in the late game, you can actually just like fly wherever you want. You can switch between the 2 maps, go wherever you want. And you have like all this freedom, which is kind of cool. But I don't know, it just dragged to the end. I just felt like I wanted it to be done, which is not a good sign. Typically with an RPG, like Xenoblade 2, I was kind of sad when I could tell it was winding up. I was like, oh man, it's so good, I want to keep playing. This game, I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this. I just gotta get through this.
you gotta finish it. You gotta finish the grind.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, pretty good combat. And also there's customization. You can like attach X spheres, which have all kinds of effects. It's very, very in depth if you really go into it, but I'm not gonna get in the weeds of it. There is one specific scene I want to mention to where I think I was playing like at 3 a.m. one night. This was very, very close to the end game, like almost the final area. And I don't know if I was just tired or delirious, but there was this cutscene to where I was dying with laughter. Like I was like crying almost. It was so funny. All for the wrong reasons. Not because it was supposed to be funny. But
not because it was good and well thought out, funny wise.
So this is a GameCube game. And obviously, it's not going to have like the most advanced, crazy cutscenes. Whenever it's not like a pre-rendered cutscene, it's just sort of like using the game models and like it looks kind of goofy. But there was a super goofy thing. I wrote down notes so I remember sort of how it went. Let's see. Okay, so basically, there's a point in the second to last area in the game.
Yeah.
Where you're walking through with your whole party of 8 people, and at some point your main character Lloyd gets separated from the rest of the 7. They're like stuck in a trap, and they're like, "No, Lloyd, you got to go on. We're stuck in this trap," and they get like sucked away to wherever. And so you're solo Lloyd. You got to go find them, and so you're going around a little bit, and okay, the whole thing looks so bizarre. Whatever I say is not going to do it justice, but visually and what they say, it was just so fucking funny. I walked into a room as Lloyd. Suddenly it cuts to Lloyd somehow on a platform above where I was standing on. And then he gets sucked into a black hole. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck is happening. And then it cuts to a shot of two other characters, Sheena and Zikos, who are in your party.
Mm-hmm.
And they're standing at two corners of this perfectly flat square platform. And all of a sudden, the same black hole in the ground in the middle of the platform opens up, starts sucking them in.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh no. Okay. So the two, just, dude, imagine like the game models. They're standing there. Suddenly, they are rotated 180 degrees and like almost like slow motion running away, but it's like sucking them in.
Yeah.
And the animation looks so silly. And then so one of them said, we'll get sucked into the magic circle. And then the other guy's like, ah, crap. Let's get the hell out of here. Just like all nonchalant as they're like getting sucked in.
What the fuck?
And then it starts sucking them in. And he's like, ow.
What?
I'm like, why would he say ow to getting sucked in by a black hole? And dude, oh my God. I don't know if I could like link the scene in the description. I can't do it justice. But how it played out looked so awkward and funny. I died of laughter. It's like, what? He's saying ow to getting sucked into it. Like, what the fuck is that? And then all this weird symbolism happens where like Lloyd is a spider and it like symbolizes, it's like, oh, you got to trust Lloyd and not whoever the fuck, I forget his name. I don't know. The cutscenes can look silly because it's GameCube and like sort of dated, but it's still like, it does its job. It's a cute game, fun game. Wasn't crazy about it, but it did its job. It was an RPG.
Sounds like you loved it.
I'm just thinking about that scene. It's so sad because I can't perfectly explain what I visualize in my head right now, but like if you saw it, oh my God.
I have no
it's funny,
fucking idea. I have no idea what the hell you saw.
We'll get stuck in the magic circle. Ah, crap. Let's get the hell out of here.
Ow.
It's just
yeah, I have no idea what the fuck is
oh
going
man.
on. I don't know what the hell you're watching at 3 a.m. But
I think it being me being tired added to the funniness of it. But I'm hoping that one person who's a huge fan of Tales who remembers that scene knows what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, that was kind of silly. So.
I have no idea.
Anyway, yeah. Would I recommend the game? I don't know. I think if you like RPGs, you'd like it. Otherwise, it's not like maybe not worth your time because it's a really long game as an RPG. So
would you say it was hard?
It's easy if you grind enough. There was a time in early game I had to grind a little bit to get past a boss fight.
Yeah.
But as the game went on and my stats sort of snowballed, things sort of snowballed, it became relatively easy. Though there were, funnily enough, the second to last boss fight, it's like a 2-phase final boss. The first phase kicked my fucking ass.
Yeah.
And I went through like so many items, like barely survived. Then the final boss, I just like stun locked into oblivion and destroyed his ass. So I think I was doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes a boss could be like ludicrously hard for no reason because like I'm doing it wrong or something. And then sometimes I just fucking get fucked. So I don't know. It's but it's all right, and like as far as non-battle gameplay, it often consists of like puzzles where like you push blocks around and like blocks maneuver. There's like different block moving mechanics depending on the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy though. But yeah.
Yeah.
That was Tales of Symphonia.
Trey's been playing Tales of Symphonia for 2.5 months.
It took way too long because I've been working on the video as well, and like whatever little free time, it's like, yeah, I guess I could play some Tales.
Yeah.
And it was just like a slog getting through it because of my busyness. But it's possible if I had more time to play it and did like more larger chunks at a time, I would have enjoyed it more, but who knows?
Yeah, the only casual game that I've been playing lately is Celeste, and that was for like we agreed 2 weeks ago to do that, and I waited until Wednesday of this week to like start it. So that's how on top of my game I am. But otherwise,
Nice.
game wise, like you finished Tales of Symphonia. I've like other than Celeste, and we already talked about Celeste. Obviously, I just kind of play Rocket League and Sunshine. Like that's just kind
And
of
Melee.
my. Oh, wait, we did play Melee the other night. Yes.
Yeah.
And I played Zelda. I think just played Zelda a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like in Rocket League I'm just getting better at certain things. I'm never going to be able to fly in that game. I know that. My brain just won't coalesce with the technology of flying in Rocket League. So I can dribble. I can out dribble a lot of people. Like I can outsmart you, but flying I can't. Like everybody can fly except me. I can't do it. I can fly and hit the ball. I can't do like the fall off the ceiling front flip. I can't do it.
I feel like my read on your general like multiplayer, like from what I've played in Melee against you and stuff, you seem to like grasp a strong deal of fundamentals pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the eccentric, like extra tech skill and weird things, that's where you kind of fall off.
Yeah.
But as far as like fundamentals, you're pretty strong.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that, and I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, Rocket, like yeah. There are just things in Rocket League that I will never like unless I sit and grind, and I don't even know if that would even help it. But it's just,
and that's the thing is that there are people who just grind Rocket League nonstop, and that's why they can do that.
Like there are people we play that Pyro and I were just like, wow, they were so stupid, but they're so good, you know. Like you can see them like jump, fly, and hit the ball, but like their I don't know, their strategic sense is terrible. So they're just like they play like the biggest brainless idiots, but they like do these really impressive flies or like fall off the ceiling front flips that I've never even attempted to do. But all I have to do is protect this net. So like we can still win. It's just like, okay, I can see what he's like. I can read what they're about to do. I can't do that. But I like based on how they're flying, I can kind of predict as to where the ball is going to go and read that and then control it and go on. But just like they can be the biggest idiots and do that, and I'm just like I can't do that. So I have to like take advantage of the fact that I'm smart and then try to win Rocket Leagues. Try to win the Rocket Leagues that way.
So again, I don't play Rocket League, but I'm thinking about it logically. So what's the hard part of flying? Is it like, are the physics in such a way where if you do an action, like, do you initiate, like you go up a wall and like sort of jump off the wall or something?
You can do it that way, but it's just like,
or can you just like start flying from the ground?
You can. Yeah. You like, sometimes you want to like stop your momentum and start flying. Sometimes you want to drive into a fly so that you have a lot of forward momentum as you start flying. But it's like I'm getting better at just like plain flying and like kind of trying hitting the ball in the right direction. And it sounds like people that would play Rocket Leagues, like it would probably sound like I'm a super scrub, but I'm like champ level, which maybe isn't like the best player of all time, but it's
like you're pretty up there though.
Yeah, we're like not low tier players, and like we run into really good players and can beat them still. Like because I take advantage of Pyro. Right, he takes advantage of me for my like dribbling and and my passing and setups, and I take advantage of him because he can do the fly shit. And
yeah. So as far as the fly shit, fly shit. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
So are the physics in such a way where like let's say you take off from the ground. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Is there always like a consistent, like, if I press down, I will go this way. If I press up, I'll go this way. Or is it like always just, is it so nuanced that like there's no way to really control it?
It basically assumes that your camera's behind you and goes forward and holding back on the control stick flips the car backward.
Uh-huh.
The weirdest thing about like flips and stuff in Rocket League, to try to go into the weeds of Rocket League, is in order to do a side flip, oh, dude, walls are so fucking confusing because you have to be angled a certain way in order to do a side flip off of a wall. So if you like go up 90 degrees and you're facing straight up, and if you jump off the wall and hold left and try to do a side flip off the wall, you don't know how you're going to do it. So before you jump off the wall, you actually want to turn a little bit the direction you will end up holding to go away from the wall. Otherwise, if you like start turning and you're like, hold on, let's try to explain this. Like 80 degrees. Okay. So you start turning left and you're facing a slight angle on the wall. If you jump away from the wall and hold left to do a side or to do the side flip, barrel roll, whatever, you will go away from the wall. But if you hold right, you will go towards the wall. So it'll be pointless. So like you have to try to force yourself into a certain direction in order to actually detach from the wall. Otherwise, you're just kind of leaving it up to chance. Flying, like everything about your momentum carries forward. So like if you're boosting and driving, you'll go really fast into a jump and carry all your momentum. Maybe you won't gain enough height to hit the ball, or maybe you're aimed perfectly, but the height that you get is like it's like one of those bar graphs where it's just like if you stop and double jump and go straight up, like you won't have any forward momentum obviously, but you'll go straight up pretty quick. Whereas if you have forward momentum, if you like start holding R, and Quan had a lot of issue with this early on, where he would start driving and then jump, and then he'd have enough forward momentum that it fucked him up. And he would go underneath where he wanted to go and hit the ball because he just had that little bit of forward momentum that he didn't want.
Classic Quan move.
And so like that, just like in the moment, maybe not panicky, but like that's a thing that was just like you start driving and then you just have a little bit of garbage momentum that you don't want. And so like and so it all transfers. So if you're going really fast, you'll go more horizontal, but you'll still be flying in the air, and you can eventually get the height, but you have to use all the boost. And if you have no momentum, you can go straight up without much of a hassle. And then you have to hit specific sides of the ball. It's really complicated shit. But
it sounds like it.
But it's really satisfying. Like I'm getting better at the fly bit. Like I was saying before, it's like people that play Rocket League probably are sitting there going like, wow, you're a fucking scrub. You don't know how to fly. I know how to fly. Like I know how to jump and hit the ball. But like doing the complicated, like multi-hit of the ball, reset off the ball, get your flip back, like all that stuff is just a mystery to me. Even though I know how to do it in like my brain, I just haven't practiced it, or like it's hard to like do randomly in a game. And it's just there's so much like idiosyncrasies in there's so many minor details in Rocket League for that kind of shit. Because you can like
this really sounds like a thing that would take 10,000 hours to master.
And because what I was saying, I had 1,600 hours, and that's during the podcast last week. I have 1,600 hours in Rocket League. It's probably my second most played game of all time. Probably maybe an Ocarina of Time or something back in the day is more, but that's only counting Steam, because I don't actually know. I don't actually know how many hours I have in Epic Games. So I think Steam has like 1,670 recorded hours. And then Epic Games we've been playing for the past few months pretty hardcore. So maybe that's another 100.
So you probably have at least 2,000.
I'm not sure about at least 2,000, but like pretty close.
Yeah.
But all I do, my role is like I'm setup guy. Like I can hit shots and I can dribble around people, but my main task in Rocket League is to set up pyro shit for like a good center. And like sometimes I commit to things that I shouldn't, and sometimes he commits to things that he shouldn't, but it's like a whole team building thing. And I'm just glad. I don't know how I'm talking about this right now, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm just glad with how our team is forming. I don't know why I'm talking about this now, but it's just like, I don't know.
You're just going off. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just satisfying how it's all, like, we had a session the other day that was the best session we've ever played. Like, hands down. I didn't local record it, so I don't ever
that would have been perfect for just like B-roll podcast footage.
Yeah, but I didn't. So I never local record Rocket League because it's just like, I don't know. It's weird because the one time I did local record
it's like bad juju. Like, as soon as you record, you play like dog shit, probably.
Exactly. And like, you asked me to record Rocket League for the podcast one of these days, and I did, and we played horribly. We played
the thing is, you just record every single time, and eventually to be good, right?
Yeah, that's the hope. But
yeah.
So we had like our greatest session, and like last night we played like, I don't know, okay, but like, I don't know, we're getting the hang of it, even though we've been playing, Pyro and I have been playing literally for 5 years as a duo, like off and on. And
yeah, we're starting to sort of figure things out a little bit.
I don't know.
Get our toes in the water.
It's just really satisfying to get one of those team plays to happen, and then, I like have the other team just be like, we don't even know how we could have stopped that, and I'm sitting there going like, yeah, I don't know how you would have stopped that either. That would have been insane if you did.
Damn.
But it's just like Rocket League. The way that people talk about Melee, like, I think Rocket League has those highs with Melee, or as Melee, and it's extremely satisfying. But also, in the same light as Melee, it can be a fucking drag because it's just like you're playing like shit, and you're up against players that you know are better than you, and you're just getting rolled and rolled and rolled, and you're just like, I don't want to play anymore. I just don't want to play for the rest of the night. See ya, GG's. But it's never toxic between like whoever I'm playing with. It's always just in good fun, or we're not in a call, and maybe I'm yelling to myself. Who knows? But yeah, it's I don't know, the highs and lows of Rocket League. I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't know how I got onto that, but Rocket
the thing
League.
is, if there were no lows, you couldn't have highs.
True.
It would just be, what's the Incredibles? If everyone's strong, no one's strong.
If everybody is super, then no one will be.
Pretty much.
And that's Syndrome for you.
Yeah.
If everything's high, then nothing is.
Also, I forgot to mention one last funny, in case to redeem myself on horribly telling that funny thing in Tales. The last reason it was funny is while they were slow motion running away, they were like halfway phased through the platform. It was just silly.
Oh, yeah. Getting sucked into the black hole, dude.
The animation and what they were saying was just, it clicked with the funny part of my brain, and I couldn't help but like die of laughter.
Oh, we also watched Detective Pikachu, which...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was in there.
Yeah, dude, the ending is so scuffed. That's my take.
Fine. I thought it was a fine ending.
It's fine, but I'd rather... Okay, so the reason we watched Detective Pikachu was because we keep referencing it as like the good Pokemon movie, but neither Trey and I had watched it, so we actually watched it together over Discord. And like, I wanted it to become, or like in the end, I thought it was just going to be a trainer and their Pokemon, but it ended up just being a trainer and their dad. So like, it's not nearly as satisfying for me because I was just like, oh, I thought this was going to be like a kind of a unique way of like...
it could have been a more Pokemonized ending. Instead, it was just sort of the typical movie dad and son ending.
Yeah, but other than that, I think the movie was good. And
I thought it was fine. Wasn't anything like crazy, but
no.
It had cool. Had some Gen 3 Pokemon. Loudred was in there, like the guy with the big ears.
Blaziken.
Yeah.
Is Blaziken Gen 3? I don't...
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Some of the visual effects were actually pretty insane, if I recall correctly. Like, there was a lot going on in some scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like almost the Inception-esque, like the ground was folding into them, but it turns out to be a giant Turturs. I don't know.
I can't remember what they're
I
called.
read the name of that turtle Pokemon. It was like, oh my god, it's a callback to when it's like, hey, if this is like a lab testing growth and these Pokemon, why aren't they big? Oh my God, they're massive.
Why aren't they big? Oh, they're what we're on.
Oh, they're literally the ground. Okay.
That
makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm just glad we watched it so that now that when we talk about video game movies, because we apparently keep talking about video game movies just like today.
One that's coming out in the future.
Yeah. Now when we reference Detective Pikachu, we'll be like, oh, the good one, and we watched it. That's good.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap, probably.
I think so too. I talked about Rocket League for I don't even know why, but sure, yeah. Thumbs up.
Thank y'all for listening. We are on Google Podcast and Spotify and YouTube on Sid and Trey. It's been Video Games Are Hard episode. Did I even say episode 14 at any point?
I don't know. You threw it to me really
I don't think
early.
I did. I did like a really bad callback and didn't even do a proper intro.
Hey, we played a hard video game on Video Games Are Hard.
Celeste is a pretty hard video game, I gotta say. But it's hard but fair.
Hard but fair.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, everybody.